All right, Jon Morosi said there's a good possibility that Dylan Cease is an Astro. Here's what Jon Morosi had to say.
Dylan Cease to the Astros probably has as much of a chance of happening as any other free agent prediction out there.
What do you think about that, Joe?
It feels like Dylan Cease to the Astros is essentially a done deal at this point. With the way,
statement.
No, it's not, because Jon Morosi's not the only one. Like the way that other people are talking about Dylan Cease and the Astros, it feels like it's everyone's all in on it. If everyone is in the belief that this is the match between Dylan Cease and the Astros, it just feels like there's something to it at this point.
Did you say it's a done deal? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Just bookmark that one for later, Brian. Let's save that one. I don't believe that the Astros are going to pay any of these projections. Like the projections that are out there for Dylan Cease, you think Jim Crane is paying this? This is my hang-up, Joe. Because I agree that the Astros are obviously interested in Dylan Cease. They try to trade for him at the deadline. There is proof in the pudding that the Astros sign guys that they failed to trade for at the deadline. See Josh Hader. But they didn't sign Josh Hader until late in the offseason, and that came after a Kendall Graveman injury. Was that, acting out because of that? Or was that them wanting a guy that they wanted at the deadline? Would they have signed him if Kendall Graveman never got hurt? I tend to doubt it, actually. My balk here, sorry for the pun, the projections we look at for Dylan Cease is like 6 years, $175 million. You think Jim Crane's paying that?
I would like him to.
Okay, that's a very different than this is like a done deal.
It's if you look how this last season played out, and like you have to replace Framber Valdez, you have to go get a starting pitcher that is good, that can contribute to this team and help you make a playoff push, that barely misses time with injury. He checks all those boxes. Jim Crane has seen all these other teams spend money, and he has so much money coming off his books. You don't have to pay Jose Abreu anymore. You don't have to pay Rafael Montero anymore. You have money to spend, so now's the time to spend it. So if he was ever going to do it, it feels like now is the moment that you go get a starting pitcher to replace Framber Valdez to help this baseball team, and you tried your hardest to go get him at the deadline. You were steadfast in what you wouldn't give up, but he was nearly an Astro for a reason. So I would like to think that now is the time to spend money and to fix your rotation, because you can't fix it with cheap options with what you have on your roster right now.
No,
you got to go get a guy.
I feel like you're walking it back a bit.
Why?
Because you said it's as good as a done deal, and now you're saying I think he should do it.
Well, the way they're reporting it sounds like a done deal.
Do you think that Jim Crane would give him 6 years, $175 million?
Yes.
Okay. I don't. That's where our impasse is at. That's why I don't feel like it's a done deal. That's why I feel like it's a radical stance to have that it's a done deal. Because I don't think that Jim Crane's going to pay $175. Do you know the most money that the Astros have ever given to a starting pitcher?
No.
$85 million.
Is that Lance?
I think it was Javier.
Okay.
Right?
It's Christian Javier or Lance McCullers. I mean, the biggest contract they gave out is still Josh Reddick, isn't it? Before Josh Hader, if anything. Maybe Josh Hader passed Josh Reddick's contract.
And Reddick was with Crane, but he wasn't. Maybe it was McCullers, because Javier was 5 years, $64 million.
Yeah, so Lance is above that.
So his was the 80.
And I get why they haven't done it. And I know now per year they've spent that money on Justin Verlander, but it wasn't the length of contract, right, that we're talking about with Dylan Cease. But this is
McCullers, 5 years, 85.
But this is the opportunity to do it. You need to solve your rotation, and adding a $15 million Justin Verlander, which also feels like it's going to happen based on the way that Chandler Romas talked about it, it's just not enough. And you're seeing these teams spend money and add and try to win. You talk about the window always being open. Well, this keeps the window open, or it reopens the window, I guess, for your championship if you add a pitcher of this caliber.
So the Astros, what it was, they have like around $25 million under the CBT. I think that's whenever we talked about it last. That's about where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a 6 year, $175 million deal, that's $29 million, a little north of $29 million. So that pushes you back into the CBT. Now, there are ways to get creative and shed salary. I mean, the Astros last year ate some of Ryan Presley's salary in a trade because they wanted to offload his contract. There's ways to trade guys that they want to offload. Like, they could get out of the Christian Walker contract, but they're probably going to have to eat a decent amount of that. I don't know how much. He's scheduled to make $40 million over the next 2 years. I don't think they're offloading that for nothing. I think they would have to retain a good amount of salary there. Jesus Sanchez is a guy that you can offload his contract. I think you could offload him pretty easy. I think he's around, 6.5. Maurice Dubon, he's on, I think arbitration estimates about 7. I think you could trade him. So there are ways to get salary. So, like, even though that Dylan Cease would currently push you over the luxury tax, into the luxury tax, based on his projected salary and projected contract, doesn't mean there aren't ways for them to be creative to be able to fit it under the CBT. Mm-hmm. But that's my hang-up, Joe. Like, I don't think that Jim Crane's going to go $90 million more for a starting pitcher than he's ever done before.
And it's a fair concern. I don't know how you continue to operate this way and start to fill some of these gaps in your roster if you're not going to spend. And it's more than obviously guys like what Christian Walker got and Jose Abreu got, but he's shown to spend money, just hasn't been super big. It always feels like to me the luxury tax is the thing that he doesn't want to go over. So if you can find a way to get under that and also bring in Dylan Cease, that feels like best of both worlds here. That you remove a guy, you move Paredes to first base, you get a new starting pitcher to replace Framber Valdez, and you're cooking at that point, and you solve your money problems. And it's not a 10-year contract. Like,
it's 6.
It's 6. Like, that's fine.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't sign Dylan Cease to a 6-year, $175 million deal. Personally, I would not.
He's not worth it?
If the Astros, no, I don't like signing starting pitchers in their 30s to big money. Like, you're investing $30 million for the next 6 years to a guy that, yes, has been durable, but is going to be in his 30s and is coming off one of the worst years he's had in a long time.
Yeah, but I'll always go back to the default. If the Astros sign him, I trust them. At this point, that's where the Astros they've earned my trust. If they acquire a pitcher, they see stuff in him that they can fix and bring out the best in him. And maybe the Padres couldn't do that, but you look at what they've done with Kikuchi and guys like that. If they see the stuff in Dylan Cease,
if they can do that with anybody, why spend $175 for 6 years on a guy?
Well, you have to like the guy. The guy's got to have the stuff. You can't just fix anyone. They got to have something that the Astros like.
He does have good stuff, Dylan Cease. And, I mean, his peak is very, very good. Second in Cy Young a few years ago, fourth in Cy Young 2 years ago. I personally wouldn't give him $175 for 6. Now, if the Astros sign him to a $175 million 6-year contract tomorrow, would I be excited? You're darn right I'd be excited. But I personally wouldn't. I wouldn't do it. And again, I'm not as strong in thought that the Astros are going to sign Dylan Cease. I'm not as strong in thought as you, as Jon Morosi, as others. I think they're second in the Vegas odds behind the Braves for some reason. My hesitation is Jim Crane giving out that big of a contract. I'll believe it when I see it.
It's a totally fair point, and I can't really counter it besides just that you got to spend money at some point to replace these guys on this roster. Like, what do you're going to trade Paredes instead for an arm, but that pitcher is most likely not going to be as good as Dylan Cease could be. So I just don't think it doesn't raise your ceiling as much as you can if you go somewhere else.
The Astros have had way better success trading for guys and developing guys than they've had signing guys.
That's true.
Like all of their pitchers, just name the best pitchers in the golden era of Astros baseball. Like Justin Verlander, you traded for him. Garrett Cole, you traded for him. Framber Valdez, you developed. Hunter Brown, you developed. Lance McCullers, you developed. Christian Javier, you developed. Like the best free agent was probably Charlie Morton in the starting rotation. Probably Charlie Morton, and he was really good. Don't get me wrong, but he's not those other guys. Wade Miley, maybe.
Yeah, I'd say Morton's the top one there of the guys that you signed, but you don't have the farm system to go out and trade for a lot of guys right now. I don't know how you go and make one of those acquisitions at this point.
Yiner?
You could do Yiner. I'm open to the Yiner conversation. I'm not opposed to trading Yiner.
Bryce?
Yeah, you can trade Bryce Matthews. That's
Jacob
fine.
Melton? That's still, it's not probably not good enough, for a top arm. But, you said that you like Cease's stuff, right?
Yeah.
The Astros, you trust the Astros. They find a guy with stuff that they like. You trust them. Well, what if it's Sandy Alcantara and they want to get out of that contract?
Great.
What if it's Joe Ryan? He would cost more, obviously. What if it's that Mackenzie Gore guy? Hey, we love his stuff. My plan would be more to trade for a guy that you like, and then sign a starter that can fill out your back end of the rotation. I just don't like giving huge money to pitchers in their 30s.
Yeah, I know that's a long philosophy of yours that you just don't believe in it, but I just don't know if you have because I would also prefer them to go out and trade for a pitcher versus sign Dylan Cease. I think the options on the trade market are better than him. I just don't think they can do it. Like, I don't think they have the capital to go out and make those moves, especially when you're going to see teams that have more loaded farm systems that are also in the same conversations and rumors around guys like Sandy Alcantara and Joe Ryan. That the Astros can't compete with like the Red Sox for Joe Ryan right now if they wanted to go get it.
Yeah.